Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to everybody who is present here. Members from the press, thank you so much for making your presence felt. Sporting personalities from different generations, stalwarts seated here, thank you so much for your esteemed presence. It's a momentous occasion at a wonderful venue, this launch of Sportstar on the web. Yesterday, when I was getting down to Chennai from Delhi, I happened to chat with a fellow passenger of mine. So as usual, the conversations drifted around a variety of topics, starting from the good pongal and the vadai that you get here in Madras at the top. He was from an earlier generation, and he was obviously talking about the conversations naturally drifted to the kind of schools, the kind of education that we get to. Rest assured, I was made to realize very quickly that I was on a flight to Chennai. When the conversation was around school education, invariably it moved on to sport and the kind of importance that sport was being provided and how much it has increased over the past few years right here in Chennai. And he's broached on the subject of sport and pastime. And that was where we could start our connect fairly straightly. It didn't matter which generation he was a part of. But the minute he started talking about sport and pastime, I was directly able to relate that conversation to Sportstar. And incidentally, I was informed that Sportstar was launched in 1978, and therefore it has been a journey which has been there for about 37 years. So I was proud to say that I was born in the same year as well. So it's something that's very, very close to my heart. Growing up, didn't understand too much of sport, but rest assured, we'll go and make sure we buy a copy of the Sportstar to make sure that we collected the center spread, the pictures, big fan of Steffi Graf, made sure that every time there was a cover, there was a center spread around Steffi Graf, I made sure I went to the stores to get, the Sportstar. And when you talk about the group per se, I think three words to me sum up what the group is all about. A, language. B, variety, and C, authority. I was informed at a very early age by my grandfather that if you've got to work on your English, if you've got to improve your English, you better start reading the Hindu, the editorials. You better start reading the Sportstar to understand a lot more about sport. In terms of variety, I was having a chat with one of my friends the other day and I was trying to understand or tell him what ball badminton was all about. He didn't seem to have much of a clue. But in an era when people probably did not know much about ball badminton, here was a newspaper which was giving scores around ball badminton. So such is the depth and the variety that the Hindu caters to. And in terms of authority, I think it's been a privilege for me to have read the Hindu growing up here in Chennai, have had the opportunity to interact with so many reporters from the Hindu. Growing up, starting off as a reporter, I know if I had to understand a bit more about athletics, all I had to do was to give a call to Mr. KP Mohan. If I had to understand a little bit more about cricket, all I had to do was to give a call to Mr. Vijay Lokpalli. If I had to, look at some wonderful photographs, Mr. V.V. Krishnan is here, master of anecdotes as well along the way. So it's been always a part of this journey. And therefore, if I were to stand here and speak in front of this audience, it's a huge privilege and honor to me. And feel really happy that Sportstar is getting connected to the next generation in the format that they most prefer. I think that to me is the biggest moment. And everybody who's been associated with this venture, can we all give them a big round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. May I now kindly request Mr. Ayan Sen Gupta, who's the editor of Sportstar, to please come forward to take us through the initiatives and what led to this momentous day. Ayan, please.
I welcome Mr. N. Ram, Chairman Kasturi and Sons Limited, Directors of KSL, distinguished sportsperson, sports administrators, and guests from various walks of life who are here with us today as Sportstar, the country's premier sports magazine for the last 37 years, launches its refurbished online edition. In the world that we live in today, where the use of smartphones and laptops are a necessity, the flow of information is radically different from what it used to be. We are inundated with news from so many directions that we perhaps don't have the time to make sense of it all. The generation today scan, surf, scroll for news, perhaps vigorously moving away from the age-old habit of flipping through broadsheet pages every morning. The post-liberalized India has seen a steady rise in the number of sports and news channels, making readily available every form of sport from almost every corner of the globe for the public. In the late 80s, we waited for the weekly show of Sports Star to read about Diego Maradona's exploits with Napoleon the Serie A. But every move of Lionel Messi, Diego's true successor, is followed by millions of football fans in this country on television, on mobiles with help of apps, and laptops thanks to live streaming of these matches. I still rate Maradona a notch above the Barcelona star, as he had single-handedly won Argentina the World Cup in 1986, though a lot of our young readers might not agree with me. In such an age, it's a challenge for a sports magazine to stay relevant. The growing number of dedicated sports websites makes the job of the traditional magazine even more difficult. Sports Star, the longest-serving English sports magazine in India, however, is committed to be contemporary in every aspect: design, format, and editorial content. The print magazine's web edition till now was updated only once a week. However, with the steady growth of social media and other online platforms, which these days break news ahead of televisions and newspapers, this website had become archaic. Living up to our rich tradition, Sports Star on the World Wide Web needed to be contemporary, relevant, and provide round-the-clock news to our faithful readers. Retaining the core values of the print publication, the web edition will continue to produce well-researched analysis, interviews, feature and comments, alongside real-time news and updates on every major sporting event. Web-only columns, which will take the reader closer to the sporting stars, will find a premium spot in the website. Little-known facets about their life will be featured in the Star Life section, which will be exciting in content and rich in design. We are steadfast in offering our readers what they want to read, taking them ever closer to their sporting icons. As an institution, we are also duty-bound to highlight the achievements of any budding athlete, egging them on to reach for the stars. The Hindu Group's association with sports goes way back in time, notably to the Sports Star's worthy successor, Sport and Pastime, which ran between 1947 and 1968. We in the media are often guilty of only highlighting the popular sports, the English Premier Leagues, the IPLs, but we at Sports Star have always consciously tried to put merit before name. Success in any sport is important and is difficult to achieve, so there shouldn't be any discrimination in recognizing the champions. Our guests today have achieved enormous success. Pankaj Advani has no title left to win in the world of billiards and snooker. Pankaj, who was the Sports Star, Pankaj, who was the Sports Star Sportsperson of the Year in 2003, has won 14 world titles and shows no sign of slowing down. Sardar Singh, the captain of the Indian hockey team, has been shouldering the rich legacy of Indian hockey and carrying it forward. He is considered one of the best midfield players in the world today. Sardar led India to a gold medal at the 2014 Asian Games in Incheon, South Korea, earning the team a direct qualification to the 2016 Olympics in Rio. Our best wishes to Sardar and his team. Joshna has been a trailblazer for Indian squash. Our footballers are breaking the myth that Indians aren't suitable for football and are playing and competing against international stars like Elano, Fikru, Roberto Carlos, Adrian Mutu in the ongoing Indian Super League. All these athletes are winners. They've chosen a very difficult path where there is no shortcut. They strive, sweat, and fight to achieve excellence every day, and the least we can do is cheer wholeheartedly for them. Our website promises to follow every move of these athletes and many more, their every match, enabling our readers to be well informed no matter in which corner of the globe these stars are playing. The players are youth icons, exemplary role models, and it will be our endeavor to highlight their stories, which in turn can inspire a generation. A rich new list of contemporary columnists will offer their expert opinions, supplementing our iconic columnists who have been an integral part of Sportstar for many years. These star writers from the field of cricket, football, hockey, badminton, billiards, snooker, chess will provide rare insights for the benefit of our readers. Paying attention to a long-standing demand from our readers, we are also incorporating a fitness column. We want to make a difference. We want to make a difference to how sports is consumed, bringing forward the issues that affect our sportspersons. Keeping that in mind, we have an informal panel discussion today where we will get a chance to hear from these eminent athletes about the challenges of being a professional sportsperson in India. This discussion promises to be an eye-opener for all of us present here and many more who are following the event through live streaming. Before I end, I'll take this opportunity to thank the long-standing soldiers of Sportstar, P. Krishnan, G. Raghunath, V.V. Rajshekhar Rao, and Ravi Kandan, our designer. This website wouldn't have been possible without their inputs. The new members of our team have ideal mentors in them. We also need to acknowledge the hard work put in by the development team led by Arpan Chatterjee. A special thanks to MCC for allowing us to host this event in this wonderful setting. We will do our best to make this website as vibrant and as informative as the Sportstar magazine continues to be. Our readers have always been our strength, and this website gives us the opportunity to attract new audience and offer our old readers more comprehensive content in a new attractive package. I will now ask Mr. Ram to say a few words before we formally launch Sportstar Live.
Friends, since this is an event to launch Sportstar Live, I think I must first update you on what's happening in Mumbai. 286 for 2 with 11 overs to go, something like that. So that's a good game. Unveiling our venture in digital sports journalism, that's what this event is all about. Our new editor has told us about what his vision for Sportstar Live in particular. Sportstar will continue to be published as a print magazine, but we put greater emphasis on the digital offerings. That's very clear from what he said and what I know about these plans. This is the digital age, obviously, where growing legions of sports fans and others receive information, analysis, and opinion on digital platforms, computers, tablets, and above all, mobile phones or data-enabled mobile phones. This journalism needs to be informative, it needs to be analytical, it needs to be insightful, it has to be opinion-rich, although we don't want it to be opinionated. It has to be interesting, it has to be multimedia, it has to be interactive, it has to be up to date, because you're always behind even the lags that occur when you update. So that's a challenge that our team will be taking up and has already overcome to a certain extent. The changes in design, format, and content are recurrent, often cyclical phenomena in the evolution of a newspaper or magazine, and this cycle gets shorter and shorter or when you talk about digital journalism. So the challenge, I think, some people talk about the culture of the always on and also the fragmented way in which people receive the news. These are some of the challenges that have to be overcome, but there are also great opportunities here to engage viewers. We don't particularly like the term consumers when you talk about journalism, but whatever be the term, we have to engage the audience, engage the readers, the viewers, the listeners, and so on, depending on the medium. So I think that's very clear. I just want to say a few words on the commitment of the Hindu over the long term to sport, Indian sport in particular, but also international sport. This has been truly over the long term, starting with the early decades of the 20th century. And all major sports played in India, cricket, hockey, tennis, football, badminton, table tennis, athletics, chess, now even Formula One and so forth. Now even rugby, I find, is covered in the Indian press and also in our magazine. So I think this is an effort to catch up, but this has truly been a commitment over the long term. As I mentioned, Sport and Pastime, our group's pioneering Sport and Entertainment Weekly was published between 1947 and 1968. It was, I would say, ahead of its time. A decade after the closure of Sport and Pastime, we launched a pure play sports publication, a sports weekly, Sports Star. Initially it was called The Sports Star, and then for design reasons the definite article was dropped, and also I suppose for modesty. So it's now just Sports Star. We've had fine contributions over the years from staff as well as outside contributors, and I particularly want the sports people present here who represent Indian sports persons at large. You are the representatives, you are the ambassadors of sports, living up to the finest traditions of sportsmanship, competitive sporting performance, but also great sportsmanship. I know many of you personally, and we regard you as fine ambassadors of the game, even though you may have retired. Some of you or many of you may have retired from your field of sports some time ago or some decades ago in a few cases. But what we value in particular is the closeness, the friendship, the cooperation, the generosity that we have got from every sports person we have seriously interacted with. Some may not like certain opinions published occasionally. Some of those opinions may be superficial or just plain wrong, but the generosity over the years, because you regard this as a worthwhile and perhaps even a trustworthy publication, that's something very precious that not many other publications in India can speak about, and we particularly value it. And I want to, on behalf of the Hindu group, and the institution, I want to thank you all for this. Some of the most distinguished sports persons present here have not yet found mention, and that will come in a few minutes. Ayon has saved that. One of our very great sports persons, R. Krishnan, Ramanathan Krishnan. I had to tell our sports editor, don't call him Ramanathan. That's the name of his father. That's the style. That's the South Indian way. We always knew him as Krishnan. And he's here. We have India's former Indian captain, a very distinguished, a great off-spinner, a distinguished international umpire who also had a short innings in cricket administration here. We have Munir Seth, an Olympian and a friend of mine from Loyola College. We have V.V. Kumar, who bamboozled many international players and should have had a much longer international career in the opinion of all of us. And we have several others. We have Ramesh Krishnan, a good friend of ours, and several others. And I think in the next part of the event, we are going to do a little ceremony where we will honor contributions to Indian sport and request you to launch the Sports Star Live in its present form. So I thought that I should mention these things. I also want to note in particular one great contributor to all the publications, all the relevant publications of our group, Jack Fingleton. Some of you may have followed that. Certainly, Mr. Krishnan would have followed his writings at that time contemporaneously. But Jack Fingleton's cricket writings for the Hindu, he also wrote about politics and so on, but his cricket writings from the Hindu, for the Hindu and our group publications, Sport and Pastime as well as Sports Star and also Indian Cricket, which is no longer published. This covered the period 1945 to 1981, when Jack Fingleton, considered one of the finest cricket writers of any time, did not contribute much to Australian newspapers, but he contributed regularly, consistently, wonderfully to our publications, and this was greatly appreciated. It was a very fine contribution to informing and educating the interested Indian public on the higher reaches of the game. And just to give you an idea of that contribution, the quantity, we looked into our digital archive, and I found 2,089 reports and articles by Fingleton, or a few of them on him, published in the Hindu between 1945 and 1981, 342 articles published in the Sport and Pastime between 1947 and 1968, which means Fingleton wrote for the whole lifetime of that particular publication, and also 35 articles published in Sports Star between 1978 and 1981. So current sports writers have role models they can look up to. Fingleton's Cricket Crisis is often rated as the finest book written by an Australian on cricket, largely on the Bodyline series and so on. So it was a great privilege for us to have this opportunity. It was before my time, but I've read some of this, to have such a great cricket writer, also a former test cricketer who figured in the Bodyline series, and after to contribute to do this, to serve Indian sport in this way. So I think these are some thoughts that occurred to me on this occasion, but now I think we'll come to the real ceremony.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ram, for traversing the journey of the Hindu through different generations, subtly pointing out the difference between opinionated and being opinion-rich. Sometimes it's a very fine margin. A lot of us do tend to cross it at some point without probably even realizing. I think that's been the hallmark of Hindu in terms of differentiating it. You rightly talked about the relationship that exists, the trusted relationships that exist between the sporting personalities of varied generations with the reporters or people who work constantly on the field there. I think perhaps at some level it's not as strong as it used to be, and it's one of the very few publications that have maintained that healthy relationships really going forward. As Mr. Ram was talking about, we've got wonderful personalities with us. May I kindly, what we are about to do is obviously to invite some leading personalities up here to the podium so that they can officially launch Sports Star Live. May I kindly request one of the champions of yesteryears, Mr. Krishnan, to please come forward, sir. Thank you so much for your presence. Big round of applause. Keep it going, ladies and gentlemen. May I also invite the former captain of the Indian cricket team, Mr. Venkat Raghavan, to please come forward, sir. The captain of the Indian hockey team, Sardara Singh, thank you so much for your presence here. Please, may I kindly request you to please come forward. Also requesting the company of somebody who keeps winning one title after the other. Mr. Pankaj Advani, lovely to have your company. Been an inspiration for a generation of people who want to take up Q Sports. Also requesting Joshna Chinnappa, lovely, thank you so much for being here. May I kindly request you to please come forward. Manuel Aaron is amidst us as well. Mr. Aaron, I mean, obviously, thank you so much, sir, for your presence. So what we shall do now is basically request the gentlemen across generations to please come forward, closer to the laptop, a couple of clicks, and we've got Sports Star Live up and running. May I kindly request Mr. Krishnan to lead and do the honors.
What do I do?
If you're happy with the visuals that we've got, if you're happy with the photographs that we've got, gentlemen and ladies, please, can I request you to please stay here, because may I kindly request Mr. Arpun Chatterjee, who's the business head, to please come forward to present a token of appreciation to the leading sports stars. May I kindly request Mr. Krishnan to accept this token of appreciation. Thank you so much, Mr. Krishnan, for being here, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Can you do it on stage? Round of applause to Mr. Venkat Raghavan. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Manuel Aaron, lovely. Thank you so much for your presence. Appreciate your company, sir. Thanks to Sardara for having taken his time out to have been part of this momentous occasion. Sardara Singh, ladies and gentlemen. Pankaj Advani, thank you so much. And thank you so much to Joshna Chinnappa for being here. She obviously visits this place very, very often, so just pop by here as well. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. The world. We'll have a discussion, and obviously more than happy to open it to the floor for questions that may arise to some wonderful personalities that we'll be chatting with. We've got people from different generations. Maybe through their eyes we'll understand the challenges that are faced by professionals in sport. When I first was thinking about this particular subject, I practically had to look at myself in the mirror, because probably the first and the foremost challenge is the press. So that's something that we shall be talking about really with our esteemed guests. May I please invite Mr. Krishnan to please come forward, sir, to be a part of our panel. Big round of applause to Mr. Krishnan. Thank you so much, sir. Also requesting Sardara to please come forward. Joshna, it'll be wonderful if you can please come forward and join us for a quick discussion as well. Thank you.
Hello.
As I said, we'll have a quick chat around the challenges facing a professional sportsman in the modern day world. We'll be happy if you can join in and ask a few questions as well to the sportsmen of different generations. It's only right that I start with you, Mr. Krishnan.
Yes.
Different times, to say the least. How different was things in your generation, and how different do you view it as things stand today in tennis and in sport overall?
Well, tennis used to be an amateur sport those days. I belong to that era. And we all played for honor at the time. And we were as ambitious as today's top professional tennis players, professional sportsmen, and things have changed a lot over the years. The biggest change is that the status of the game has changed. And now it is all it's completely commercialized, professionalized, and there's a lot of glamour attached to it. And things are different, but it's very difficult to compare sportsmen of different eras because the situation is different today. First of all, the equipments have changed a lot. So we used to play with wooden rackets, and now it's all metal rackets and, various type of combination of rackets and all. So things have changed and shoes have changed, clothing has changed. Particularly the shoes have changed a lot. Today's sportsmen, they wear much better shoes than what we had at that time. And the equipment has changed a lot. It gives an improvement of nearly 30%. 30% is a lot in anything. 30% is a big advantage. Sure. So today's players have that. They also have that, it is because it's professional sport, a lot of people take to it, trying to have it as a career. And it must be remembered that once you become good players and top sportsmen, then you start earning big money. But to reach there are a lot of challenges. So you have to sustain yourself. I always believe that it takes nearly 5 years to learn the game, another 5 years to become a good player or a champion. So it's nearly 7, 8 years. And there are some exceptions like Boris Becker, for instance.
Sure.
And he came up very fast. But otherwise, normally it takes 7, 8 to 9, nearly 10 years. During that time, the biggest challenge is, it's an expensive sport. Sport is becoming expensive. Particularly tennis is very expensive. And in my days, I bought the first tennis racket for 10 rupees or 12 rupees. And the pair of shoes was 5 rupees or 6 rupees. Today, they vary from 10,000 to 20,000 and things like that. It costs a lot of money. So economics is a big problem for the players who are sustained for 10 years. They need sponsorships. And, traveling today, I have an idea because I used to work for my son Ramesh, who became professional. Sure. It is nearly transportation and hospitality or hotel. It is nearly 40 to 50% of the total earnings. So you can imagine, once you start earning, you're all right. Otherwise, it's very tough. And then the top sportsmen, they have another problem. They have to meet the press. They are exposed to the press. And when they earn big money, they have two things. One is to stay. It's much more difficult to stay there rather than reaching the top. Much more effort is necessary. A few players successfully done that. Like, for instance, Federer, he's been there for so many years. It's remarkable. You see, they have a big, commitment. They have to look after the money that they have earned. That's a full-time job. And then they have to stay in top form. That's another full-time job. It's remarkable how they combine it. I admire their capacity and all. So over the years, things have changed so much. It's all completely different. And magazine like Sports Star has been there right through. They'll be able to say a lot of things about this.
Interesting that you mentioned about the change in equipments. Growing up, the biggest difference that we saw was when Bjorn Borg probably attempted to make a comeback in the early 90s with his old wooden racket, and we all know what happened therefore. And you also talked about tennis being perceived at that point in time as a sport where you had to invest a bit more as well. Joshna, I want to come to you on that particular aspect. In terms of accessibility of a particular sport, you've been a champion of your sport, you've been one of the pioneers for the generation that is coming through. In terms of accessibility, would you say that that's one of the challenges that a few wannabe professionals or wannabe sports people still face with respect to squash?
When I started, I was fortunate that my dad was a member of the Madras Cricket Club, and that's how I actually had access to a squash court. And I don't think a lot of people are as probably fortunate as I am to have, membership of a club like this with squash courts. But I think now with the academy that's come up in Chennai, I think that really opened doors for a lot of people to access squash courts. And I think a couple of schools in Chennai as well, have their own squash courts.
A
But
lot
I
of
think
real estate agents obviously promise squash courts as well.
I'm sorry?
A lot of real estate agents promise squash courts as well. It's become a part of the community. I wouldn't understand about the dimensions of the court, but they do promise, obviously.
Yeah,
At least
they
there's
do.
an
I mean,
interest
some
there.
residential apartments do have a court built with the facility, but in terms of giving it access to the public, it's not probably as good as it could be, but it's definitely gotten a lot better in the last 10 to 12 years for sure, especially in Chennai.
Sardara, when we talk about hockey in particular, uh, one of the biggest changes that we've got to see is the springing up of different leagues. जैसे PHL हुआ था, उसके बाद WSH हुआ था, उसके बाद आपका अभी जो हॉकी इंडिया लीग हो रहा है, तो कितना फायदा होता है प्लेयर्स को खास करके, और कितना बदलाव देखा है आपने हॉकी में तब और अब के बीच में?
देखिए, मैं कहूँगा कि जो हमारा 2014 ईयर्स था हॉकी के लिए, इंडियन हॉकी के लिए काफ़ी अच्छा रहा, क्योंकि उसका एक मैं कहूँगा कि जो हमारी, जैसे आपने हॉकी इंडिया लीग की बात की, वो एक बहुत अच्छी लीग है। वर्ल्ड के बेस्ट प्लेयर आके परफॉर्म करते हैं, और मोस्टली ऑस्ट्रेलियन, जर्मनी, पहले हमें इनके साथ ज़्यादा मैचेस खेलने को नहीं थे मिलते, और हम वर्ल्ड कप जहाँ ओलंपिक अच्छे इवेंट्स में उनके साथ मैच खेलते थे, तो हमें उनका ज़्यादा पता नहीं था चलता, और हाई रैंक्स की टीम है। तो सबसे अच्छी बात यह है कि अभी हॉकी इंडिया लीग शुरू हुई है, तो हमारे साथ वो 1 मंथ का जो टाइम स्पेंड कर रहे हैं, तो जितने भी हमारे यंगस्टर्स हैं उनसे ग्राउंड के बाहर उनका क्या बिहेवियर है, मैच से पहले अपने आप को कैसे प्रिपेयर करते हैं, उनकी डाइट क्या है, तो कितने फोकस रहते हैं, तो वो चीज़ें जितने भी यंगस्टर्स हैं उनको फॉलो कर रहे हैं। तो मैं कहूँगा कि ये एक अच्छी चीज़ है हमारी हॉकी के लिए।
I know you've talked about the benefits of the league across leagues really. Different leagues have benefited, or people have benefited from different leagues. But आपके हिसाब से हॉकी प्लेयर्स चैलेंज क्या है आज के तारीख में? हॉकी प्लेयर्स के लिए चैलेंज क्या है?
देखिए, हॉकी एक एक्सपेंसिव गेम है। मैं कहूँगा कि मान लो आज अगर आपको, क्योंकि मोस्टली हॉकी मैं कहूँगा कि मिडिल क्लास जहाँ पुअर जो भी परिवार है उनके बच्चे हॉकी खेलते हैं। तो लास्ट टाइम मैं हॉलैंड में था, तो मेरे को भी पता नहीं था, क्योंकि वो उन्होंने मेरे को बताया कि हॉलैंड में जो अमीर लोग हैं वो हॉकी खेलते हैं। तो मैं कहूँगा कि आजकल अगर आपने एकेडमी में हॉकी शुरू करनी है, आपकी नॉर्मल स्टिक है जो, तो वो 1000 से शुरू होती है, फिर आपके शिन पैड, शूज़, तो एक्सपेंसिव गेम है। मैं कहूँगा कि इसके कारण भी हमारी जो हॉकी थोड़ी डाउन जा रही है। तो अभी जो हमारी लीग शुरू हुई है, तो मैं कहूँगा इससे हमें काफ़ी बेनिफिट मिल रहे हैं, और जो भी यंगस्टर्स हैं और ज़्यादा हॉकी को फॉलो कर रहे हैं, तो ये एक अच्छी बात है।
Also, in terms of the changing generation, the changing mindset, I mean, when we talk about the challenges of a professional sportsman, I think we also need to bring into focus the press. How much of a challenge really is it to have, I don't know if that's the right term to use, a working relationship with the press? Because when I speak to the reporters of the older generation, the kind of anecdotes that we get to hear, the kind of interactions that the reporters used to have with the players of their generation, it's vastly different now. There is, whether we like it or not, there is a definite bridge that seemingly exists between the players and the professional sportsmen. So do the players consciously look at that and therefore try to, encircle them with a bit of a wall when it comes to dealing with the press? Is that one of the challenges that you take on?
I've never really looked at it that way, but I mean, the press for me have always been very supportive. My job has just been to play, train, and win medals for the country, and the press has always reported that. For me, I try. Sometimes, of course, your words get misconstrued, and you kind of take a conscious decision. Okay, you know what? I won't talk on certain things, or
Sure.
I'm going to try and be a little bit more diplomatic because I don't want to upset too many people. But I think it's just about, being honest, saying exactly how you feel, as long as you're not really upsetting anybody in the process.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be able to throw light on this, sir, because, I mean, I remember, when people talk about the tennis superstars of today, I mean, the Roger Federers, the Rafa Nadals, or Andy Murray, when you listen to them in their press conferences, it's the same old answers. I remember reading one of Andy Murray's interview, or somebody close to Andy Murray probably saying that he would want to make it look that way because he doesn't want to unnecessarily get into a situation where, as she rightly says, he could be misquoted and therefore unnecessary issues to crop up. And therefore, I mean, the press reads it as a situation where they believe that there are no characters anymore around in tennis. You had John McEnroe, you were sure shot, you were assured of an entertainment. I mean, Nick Kyrgios, for whatever reasons, I mean, is there as a character, not justifying that. So in that sense, I mean, how much has the relationship changed from your days to what we get to see today?
The press plays a much bigger role today in the growth of sports, and they can put a lot of pressure on the champions, on the players. They are either criticizing you or praising your performance. In either case, there's a lot of pressure on the player who is to perform. And some of these top players are used to it now, and they take it well. They are used to it, and they need the press because they want more and more exposure. The only way they can get exposure is only through the press, because today's professional athletes, they are looking for endorsements, they are looking for bigger prize monies and all. The press can help them along a lot of things. They get exposure, and the players also, in my time, they try to be modest, they try to be unassuming. That doesn't work anymore. Today, the top athletes, they have to sell themselves, they have to talk more and, say that they are good and everything. They have to sell themselves.
Is it also that audience have also changed quite remarkably in terms of the way they look at sports people? Because the reason why I say that is, are the audience, aaj ke tarikh mein, are they also very opinionated? I mean, yes, you always like somebody, you probably don't like a style of a particular player. Are they also more opinionated? हर किसी को कोई बहुत अच्छा लगता है, हर किसी को कोई बहुत बुरा भी लगता है. तो openly audience भी बात करता है, इसलिए press in a sense is catering to the audience.
पाजी मैं प्रॉपर समझा नहीं आपका क्वेश्चन.
तो जिस हिसाब से जो आज की तारीख में जनरेशन जो है, जैसे आप इंडिया पाकिस्तान जब खेलते हो, तो obviously emotions आपके ऊपर कैमरा है, तो आप जो spur of the moment में जो करते हो, तो obviously the cameras are all over, so that can be projected, and therefore जो audience उसको देखता है, तो they can assume a lot many things and they can form opinions, and therefore is that also a challenge कि आप जब emotions के ऊपर काबू रखना कितना बड़ा challenge बनता है?
बिल्कुल, मैं कहूँगा कि स्पेशली जब हम पाकिस्तान के साथ खेलते हैं, तो जब आप नए टीम में आते हो, तो बिल्कुल वो होता है कि जो ग्राउंड के बाहर हो रहा है, हमारे बॉर्डर्स पे हो रहा है, वो चीज़ें हम लेके आते हैं, क्योंकि ज़्यादा एक्सपीरियंस नहीं होता उस टाइम. बट हॉकी में हमारा ये एक्सपीरियंस है कि जैसे जैसे आप ज़्यादा मैचेस खेलते हो, तो हमारा एक्चुअली टारगेट है कि आपको कूल माइंड कैसे खेलना है, और जो कोचेज ने स्ट्रेटजी बनाई है उसके ऊपर स्टिक रहना है. तो यही टारगेट होता है कि गेम को जीतना है. तो जब नए टीम में आए थे, उस टाइम थोड़ा जोश होता है कि हाँ लड़ाई ये वो, बट मैं कहूँगा एक्सपीरियंस के साथ धीरे धीरे जैसे आप ज़्यादा मैचेस खेलते हो, फिर आपको और एक्सपीरियंस मिलता है.
Joshna, I mean, it's the next generation is what we call the Twitter generation, right? I mean, since we are on the subject of, a digital launch and a website launch, we need to talk about this. So often we've come across, people wanting to tweet, whether it's relevant or not. I mean, it's a spur of the moment. You want to be a part of the hashtag, and therefore you are tempted to tweet. How restrained should a sports person be? Should he be restrained? Should he not? I mean, there are sports personalities. There are a few who tweet and then have a bit of fun. I mean, you look at a few of those English footballers, for example. You look at Michael Vaughan's tweets, for example, or Kevin Peterson. So how much of a challenge is for a professional sportsman now to deal with another medium altogether where it's enormously opinionated?
With Twitter, for me, I don't personally comment too much on politics or anything that's, like you said, the hashtag. Maybe because I don't want to deal with the backlash maybe, or people's unnecessary comments. So I mean, again, like for me, it's just about focusing on my game because it can really take away from what I need to do, where I'm worrying about what people are saying and, you know, all of that. And I just don't want that distraction. But I mean, people really do have a lot of opinions, and a lot of them are nasty as hell. You know,
Yeah,
they
exactly.
don't.
Yeah.
It's not like they just say what they think and leave it at that. They really mean to attack you. And the people who have the guts to tweet what they want, you know, I really respect that because I think for them, they know how to switch off and say, okay, I need to get out and go do my job. But I don't think a lot of people can handle it as well as you said, like a KP or the footballers that you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah. Pankaj, you're active on Twitter as well. I mean, would you share the same sentiments? If you can pass the microphone across to Pankaj, please, if you have a spare microphone.
I think we've also got to understand one thing, that there's a huge difference in culture. When we're talking about Indian sportspersons, we're talking about sportspersons from the UK and the West. What happens to us is that while we have our opinions, while we would love to say a lot of things on sport and on current affairs and what's happening in the world of sport, especially because it's close to our hearts, we're very restrained at times because we feel that taken too literally by the people. Of course, the press and media have a good relationship with us, and we obviously try to maintain a healthy relationship. But in the West, we're talking about footballers, cricketers, they have a bit of fun on Twitter, they interact with each other, they insult each other, but they all know at the end of the day.
Are you trying to say we naturally lack a sense of humor? Is that a way of looking at things as well?
I don't think we lack a sense of humor, but yeah, we do take things too literally at times, and
Yeah.
especially with people who are in the limelight, people who are scrutinized, you know, by the public and who are always in the public eye. So I feel that there's a very fine line over there, which sometimes we feel is crossed, but to the others, when in the other part of the world, it's just normal banter. So I think, you know, if it's all done in fun, if it's done without any insult to anyone, it's, you know, it's fine. But then sometimes it can be reinterpreted in the wrong way. And that's why I feel sometimes a lot of us are restricted and we feel restrained that we don't want to write something that may just upset someone else or maybe very controversial.
Please.
I want to say something about the audience. Audience has been the same for several decades in sports, except that it is much more noisy today. Previously there used to be quiet audience, now it's more noisy. That is mainly because the format in all games has changed. In tennis it has come to tiebreaker. It gives more excitement and thrill. Similarly in cricket, there's a T20 going on in Bombay. You know, the crowd is much more noisy because it is more suspense and more thrills.
Yeah, microphone.
But I feel that audience have always, whether before or now, they have always supported the big fighters and big sportsmen. You know, people like Federer, for instance, in tennis, he's a big sportsman and a big fighter. And finally, the audience goes with the winner.
Are we a lot more, he spoke about the audience being pretty much the same across generations, just that, I mean, they are a lot more noisy today. In terms of the way they look at sport, I mean, formats have changed. Is that, I mean, again, coming to that part of it, I mean, is that another big challenge for you? I mean, it's changed from the 70, I mean, the kind of rules have changed in terms, you've got the breaks, you've got different quarters now. So in terms of the format change, how much of a challenge does it, put on a professional sportsman like you?
देखिए जब ग्राउंड में होते हैं बिल्कुल बाहर से जब आप बड़ा इवेंट खेलते हो तो डिफरेंट मैं आपको बताऊंगा कि जब हम एशियन गेम फाइनल खेल रहे थे तो जब हम हाफ टाइम के बाद अपना चेंज रूम की तरफ जा रहे थे उधर काफ़ी पाकिस्तानी लोग खड़े थे तो वो काफ़ी गलत कमेंट्स कर रहे थे बट ये है कि आप अपने आप को कैसे कॉन्सेंट्रेट करते हो तो आजकल वो चीज़ें मैं कहूँगा कि ज़्यादा हमें कॉन्सेंट्रेट करने की ज़रूरत है और उन्हीं चीज़ों के ऊपर अभी हमारी जो टीम है वर्क कर रही है कि कैसे आपको 60 मिनट्स है कैसे फोकस रहना है जो बाहर का क्राउड क्या जो चल रहा है उन चीज़ों को भूल के
और आपके खुद के गेम में कितना बदलाव लाना पड़ता है इन टर्म्स ऑफ जैसे एथलीट्स बोलते हैं पीकिंग एट द राइट टाइम जब फॉर्मेट चेंज किया जाता है सो इन टर्म्स ऑफ फोकसिंग ऑन दोज पीक परफॉर्मेंसेस अक्रॉस से गेम ऑफ हॉकी और अक्रॉस एनी स्पोर्ट कितना बदलाव होता है आपके ट्रेनिंग रेजिमेंट में कितना बदलाव होता है कि आपके प्रिपरेशन में जब जब फॉर्मेट चेंज होता है?
देखिए जो हमारे ट्रेनिंग कैंप्स होते हैं तो जो भी नया रूल आता है तो हम उसी कैंप में उनके ऊपर ट्रेनिंग करते हैं और मोस्टली अभी 60 मिनट्स की जैसे गेम हुई है, 4 क्वार्टर्स हैं, तो उसमें जो 2 मिनट का टाइम मिलता है तो सेम हम पैटर्न से अपने कैंप्स में वो गेम्स खेलते हैं, तो उसी में से जो कोचेज़ आपको बताते हैं वो उन चीज़ों के ऊपर कॉन्सेंट्रेशन।
राइट, या प्लीज।
See, you are mentioning about audience. In my opinion, as a player of those days, of course, we used to draw large crowds in Madras, Bombay, and Calcutta, all over the national Rangasamy Cup, the famous Rangasamy Cup, the national championship. And the audience used to give us the kick. It's an audience that enjoys the game, and then they support you. We get more and more encouragement, and we really give our best. The second thing you are asking about, whether the media helps. In my days again, we also will agree, sports and pastime was there. And I was given so much of coverage. I mean, I was encouraged. That gave me the boost. And to play for the country, I made up my mind I must work hard. And I had the backing of the sports and pastime, which even took photos published. And as a matter of fact, I was a standby for quite a few Olympic Games. And finally, it was the media who, including the Hindu, who came to Jalandhar, Patiala for the training camps in 1967, 68 for the pre-Olympics and for the Olympics. And they were, the last 3 days of the trials, they were there backing us, backing those players who are giving the best, to tell the selectors that these guys should be there. And that made a lot of difference. And I can tell you, but for the media, but for the support of this sports and pastime those days, I don't think I would have played for India.
Lovely. He also wants to say something.
Good evening. The subject that has come up for discussion is highly interesting. Insofar as the press and also the media, that's what we are talking about. If you have a comparative analysis of what has happened and what is happening now, I share some of the views expressed by Madam Joshna. But a thing that is to be noted is that now the media is highly technique bound. Now, if you take, for instance, cricket, quite a few of the media, they say that had he done this or had he not done this, things would have been different. But in those days, such was the intensity of the media or the press, as you may call it. In those days, they never went to this extent of techniques. They said that here are certain guidelines, and if that is being followed, it will certainly help the team to come up. And indirectly or directly, they never more or less rather had any interaction with the players in those days. But the friendship that we had with the press in those days, and as rightly said by Munir said, it was sport and pastime and the Hindu. The first thing in the morning you do was to read the Hindu after your coffee. But the media over the years have improved to a great extent that they are highly critical, as been brought out by these people. And also sometimes that they go beyond their limits. That is not required at all.
Do we go back to the point that Mr. Ram was making, the difference between opinionated and opinion-rich? Is that the critical difference that we're talking about?
That's right.
Right, lovely. Wonderful to have Mr. Vasudevan Bhaskaran as well amidst us, gold medalist in 1980. Thank you so much for your presence, Mr. Bhaskaran. Good to hear stalwarts from the former generation. Sardara, आप न्यूज़पेपर कितना पढ़ते हो? मतलब आप कितना मूल्य देते हो जब मैच रिपोर्ट्स आते हैं या फिर ओपिनियनेटेड कॉलम्स जो आते हैं, आपको इस तरह से खेलना चाहिए या उस तरह से खेलना चाहिए, कितना मान्यता रखता है आप लिए?
देखिए, मैं पिछले 2 साल से कोई सोशल साइट्स कुछ भी यूज़ नहीं था कर रहा, और क्योंकि हमारे काफ़ी मेजर इवेंट्स थे, और क्योंकि ये चीज़ें बिल्कुल इफ़ेक्ट करती हैं आपके ऊपर। और न्यूज़पेपर की अगर आप बात करें तो मोस्टली सारा साल हमारे कैंप लगे रहते हैं, तो टाइम नहीं मिलता इवन ना ही टीवी का, और क्योंकि दिन में 3 सेशन होते हैं हमारे, तो संडे एक दिन मिलता है रेस्ट करने के लिए। मोस्टली ये रहता है कि रेस्ट करें और नेक्स्ट जो हमारा ट्रेनिंग सेशन है उसके लिए अपने आप को प्रिपेयर करें। तो कभी है जब ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं तो उस टाइम थोड़ा बहुत न्यूज़पेपर।
I want to tell you one thing, interesting thing. I was in Wimbledon watching matches, watching McEnroe play. He was behaving badly, getting a lot of bad publicity. John McEnroe is getting a lot of bad publicity. So somebody in the press asked his father, who was watching, he said that your son is getting a lot of bad publicity. What do you say about it? So McEnroe's father said, senior McEnroe said, bad publicity is better than no publicity.
Right. I mean, we've talked a bit about the press. I mean, we've talked, we've heard a lot of the purists, so to speak about sport in general. One final aspect that I would want to bring about here is the amount of money that is coming into today's game is phenomenally more than what it was in your generation. Have you seen a change in attitude of the next generation when they take up to sport in terms of their focus? I mean, we heard people from that generation talk purely about sport, performance, audience, reports, press, doing well, achieving. But where and how does the money get factored into in the current generation?
I think during amateur days, all top players, they played for honor and pride. And that hasn't changed even now. Today's players also, they make a lot of money, but once they make the big money, a stage is reached that they don't care for the additional money. They care much more for saving their reputation, pride and honor. Like Federer is still playing or Nadal is trying to play. I think they are not fighting for more money.
Sure.
They are fighting to remain there and get recognition from the public, and it is their pride which is, finally it's the pride, not the money.
Fair enough, sir. Fair enough. Point taken. But Sardara, जब आप डिफरेंट हॉकी लीग्स के बारे में बात करते हो तो ऑब्वियसली बहुत अच्छी बात है कि गेम के अंदर मनी फ्लो कर रहा है अभी, लेकिन इज देयर अ डेंजर ऑफ द फ्यूचर जनरेशन गेटिंग टू कैरिड अवे बाय द मनी पार्ट ऑफ इट? आप सबसे पहले ऑक्शन देखते हो, आप सबसे पहले ड्राफ्ट सिस्टम देखते हो, एंड देयरफॉर योर फोकस कैन गेट अवे. आप वो देखते हो वो दिन जब फोकस शायद गेम से मनी के ऊपर चले जाए?
सर ने बिल्कुल ठीक कहा, क्योंकि जो बड़े प्लेयर हैं मैं कहूँगा कि जैसे सचिन देख लो, फेडरर देख लो, उनके पास ऑब्वियसली कि काफ़ी मनी है, स्पॉन्सर्स हैं, बट स्टिल कि कंट्री के लिए खेलना एक बहुत बड़ी बात है. तो वो आपकी थिंकिंग है, आप पैसे को किस तरीके से कैसे, अगर आप कंट्री के लिए खेलना चाहते हो तो ये मैं कहूँगा कि सचिन पाजी की मेरे को एक बात अभी भी याद है, उन्होंने बोला था कि जो आपका काम है आप फोकस रहो, ये जो चीज़ें आपके पैसा ये सब आपके पीछे आएगा. तो ये सभी स्पोर्ट्समैन की अपनी अपनी थिंकिंग है, क्योंकि अभी मैं हरियाणा में हमने देखा है कि बिल्कुल पूरी टीम के साथ हमारा उनके साथ एक सेशन था बिफोर वर्ल्ड कप. तो बिल्कुल, और हमारे साथ अभी हरियाणा में काफ़ी ऐसे प्लेयर्स हैं जिनको एक अच्छी जॉब भी मिली है, पैसा मिला, बट उसके बाद उन्होंने वो सेटिस्फाई हैं, वो गेम को छोड़ चुके हैं. बट कुछ ऐसे भी प्लेयर हैं जो कंटिन्यू कर रहे हैं. कंट्री के लिए खेलना एक बहुत बड़ी बात है.
Maybe I'll get to Mr. Bhaskaran on this. Mr. Bhaskaran, I mean, is there a need for more mentors probably in this day and age with the kind of money that seemingly is flowing into every sport? Mentors needed to understand, to tell them what's more important?
Well, I think the most important in this kind of generation is that we have the past of 60s, 70s, 80s, and we have next to me is a great brilliant man here, Sardara, everybody there. I think the mentor is very, very important at this juncture, including Chinnappa. I think Federer makes money. I met twice when I was in Geneva, but I think he keeps going only for his pride of the game.
Sure.
He promotes himself how to play the game at a certain level. I think in Asian country we don't have a mentor to back up the game and also the money how to use it. In fact, if you see the basketball, NBA, most of the basketball players have ruined themselves because there's no mentor there. Okay, so I think in India too, I think we need a mentor where we can go along and also keep in the game, like Leander Pace. Of course, he doesn't have a mentor, but I think himself makes himself eligible to play that age and also promote the game. There's so many other good sportsmen in India to, they are the own themselves to go ahead. I think that's very important in this kind of sports, because there's a lot of competition, a lot of money in it.
Sure.
I think we have to agree to it. I mean, we can't be always amateur and, still think that we have still pride of the game. Yes, but we play for the country, but then I think the pride of the game also should come for the country who are owning the game. That's what the sportsman wants at the end of the history of his tenure, journey, or whatever it is.
Sure, sure. Lovely. In terms of the changing attitude of sports people.
As far as I'm concerned, performance is the foremost. One has to keep performing, one has to keep winning
Sure.
tournaments, one has to have focus on that. Money will security, money will just follow. So money is not the most important thing.
Sure.
The most important thing as far as I'm concerned is, like for instance, if you don't perform, you're going to be dropped from the Indian side. And that's not going to get anywhere.
True.
So that is the motivation. Motivation here is to perform, keep performing at the highest level, achieving and keeping fit. That's the most important thing again. So in my view, whether it is Roger Federer or Djokovic or Nadal, for them it is winning the tournaments. The number of things, keeping, achieving certain goals. For instance, he has won 17 titles now.
Sure.
So in the last 3 years, he's been struggling to win a major tournament, but he has been in the finals, semi-finals, almost saying every time. So that shows the man's class. But what is the inner motivation is that he wants
Sure.
to win more tournaments and money will just follow.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Mr. Ram?
Is it all right to ask a question on a
Please,
different subject,
please.
on sportsmanship,
Sure.
to Mr. Krishnan? Now, you had a reputation for not only exemplary sportsmanship, but for extraordinary sportsmanship, and it used to be said that when the umpire made a mistake before the days of the current technology and so on, and ruled in favor of you, you used to correct the umpire or rather overrule the umpire. Say, for example, if the ball was in and the umpire called out on your side, you used to say, no, it was in. What went behind, what is behind this, and how long did you continue this example of sportsmanship?
Of course, sportsmanship is important always, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing, as Venkat was saying, is to perform well and win matches. And talking about Ram's question about sportsmanship, giving points or changing line calls, I used to do it in my earlier part of my career. If there's a linesman decision or wrong, I used to get up and change the decision. People used to clap for it. Later on, a champion came and told me, Fred Perry was a tennis legend from Great Britain. He told me that I'd played a match in court number 2 and I did this. So when I came out, he said that, you got a lot of applause from the 10,000 people watching you, but you let down that linesman who was sitting there and made, he was made a call. He looked very small before a crowd. You shouldn't have done that. I've seen, ever since that time I took that advice, I stopped giving away calls, because even in any match, in any game, it evens out in the end, wrong calls. So that way. And another thing which I remembered, the earlier question about money. When Ramesh started playing tennis in the junior days, I tried to help him out, and professional tennis has just arrived. I asked John Newcomb, the tennis Australian legend, I asked him, what should I do in professional tennis? My son is trying to come up. So he gave me very good advice. He said, don't choose events, which gives you more money today. Choose events, which will give you more competition. I followed it, and it paid dividends, and this is what happens. He said, let him climb the mountain. I think this may advise to all the youngsters.
No, interesting that he brought about sportsmanship as well, because sorry, I can throw it up open to the floor. I mean, when we look at different sport, I mean, it's an individual sport. Yes, it's a team sport here, but when you look at different sport, football, for example, right? when we watch the different leagues across Europe, we see instances of players diving. We see instances of deliberate fouls. I mean, how would you categorize that? For a classic case is obviously, if you remember, I mean, when Chelsea was playing Arsenal, the Diego Costa red card, you could clearly see that he was caught in a particular situation. He shouldn't have probably done what he did, but it was Gabriel Paulista who got the red card on that particular occasion for reacting to what Costa probably did. So we see a lot of, and people have, the commentators have come out and said, you know, he was a bit naive. He's a bit soft. In English footballing parlance, they talk about the fact that they should know to play nasty. They should know to play hard. So how would you look at the generational shift, the generational change, and therefore bring in sportsmanship into perspective in this day and age?
Want me to answer that question?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
I think today's sports is very hard. I think it's very, very tough, and everybody is very, very keen on winning his point.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be that way. Whether it's going to be rugby, hockey, tennis, I think it's going to be that way, and young sportsmen have to realize that that's the way the whole world is going to be. Competition is going to be there, and the competitive spirit has to come, has to get built into the child or the person to ensure that he's going to stay on the top. I have one more thing to say.
Please.
My name is Prem Kara. I'm a member of this club. I was a sports administrator under Mr. N. Murli, who was the Tamil Nadu Tennis Association president when I was the secretary. I'm talking on the point with reference to the money that is required for various sports activities for the children to come up to a certain level. There is a fire in the belly in the middle class. You know, my father wouldn't have been able to afford to give me the best of the sporting facilities for me to come up in life. But today you will find a lot of middle class families having the husband and the wife working. And they have the fire in the belly and they want to do something for their child.
Sure.
And that is where there is a mass, there's a volume in the country which can bring about potential sportsmen who can do extremely well for the country. With sporting pastime, which was there decades ago, Sports Star today and the Hindu, I would implore the Hindu family and the Kasturi and Sons Limited to come out with some sort of a trust which could be created wherein they can use this sportstarlive.com to collect money and use this usefully to ensure that there'll be a great number of sportsmen. Value will be added to the sports facilities and value will be added to the sports persons participating in sports across the globe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Just a quick one to you, Joshna. I mean, he was talking about the modern day equipments and the affordability, the economics part of things, which is obviously improved, and therefore more kids are being provided with what they would ideally need. But can it be a bit of a double-edged sword? Because, I mean, say one section might turn around and say, I mean, when you look at kids demanding a Nike or an Adidas when they are 4 years old, when they are 5 years old, they are more aware of brands, yes. But would you say that you've got to earn it, and that aspect of wanting to earn might diminish a bit if you're provided everything fairly early?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the kids today that I interact with, you know, their parents want to get them everything that they read online or their role model is wearing. And I feel like it kind of takes away the fire from them, because when they get on court, they seem to not have that fighting instinct to really, you know, win matches and, you know, work hard. And I have seen it with fellow squash players. Growing up, I personally didn't have a lot, you know, and I'm very fortunate to have that kind of an upbringing because I truly appreciate what I have today. But yeah, I mean, I do believe the focus should be on training and really working hard so that the kids can perform, you know, without the frills that they want before actually winning. So.
Right, I thought I should bring in, because I mean, there's more awareness of the brands. There's, the kids demand a lot more than what we probably used to demand from our parents. So any more questions? Opening the forum open to the floor. Any more questions?
Sardar, I just want to ask you a question since you're there into it. How are the chances of the Indian hockey team performance going to be in Rio in the 2016 Olympics. Will we finish podium finish, or what you have in your mind?
सर मैं कहूँगा कि पिछले 2 साल से हमारे जो ट्रेनिंग सेशन है काफ़ी अच्छे हो रहे हैं, कोचेज़ काफ़ी अच्छे हैं और टीम काफ़ी ग्रो कर रही है, इम्प्रूव कर रही है। और जितने रिसेंटली हमने मैचेस खेले हैं अच्छी टीम के साथ, जो हमारे से हाई रैंक की टीम्स थी, हमने उनको बीट किया। बट मैं कहूँगा कि काफ़ी हार्ड ओलंपिक में मेडल लेना, बट जिस तरीके से हमारी टीम अभी परफॉर्म कर रही है तो आई एम श्योर कि हमारे चांसेस हैं। और टीम एज ए टीम खेल रही है और टीम का, क्योंकि एक टीम को एक साथ में लेके चलना वो एक बहुत ज़रूरी, एक ये चीज़ें काफ़ी काउंट करती हैं एक टीम में। तो जो लड़के हैं ग्राउंड के बाहर अंदर एज ए फ्रेंड फैमिली, मैं कहूँगा इससे आपकी जो टीम है ज़्यादा बिल्ड होती है। तो ये माहौल काफ़ी अच्छा है, हॉकी सभी को आती है, तो एक साथ आपको कैसे रहना है वो मैं कहूँगा कि इन टीम बॉन्डिंग वो उन चीज़ों के ऊपर ज़्यादा हम फोकस कर रहे हैं। तो मैं कहूँगा कि ओलंपिक से पहले अपने आप को फिट रखें और कोई किसी भी प्लेयर्स को इंजरी ना आए। तो आई एम श्योर सर कि इस बार वी विल गेट गुड रिजल्ट।
Any further questions? If we don't, thank you so much. It's my pleasure to have Sardar Singh, Mr. Krishnan, and Joshna Chinnappa. I appreciate your company. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for all of you to have come here and answered every question forthrightly. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of this momentous occasion. Sportstar Live is up and running, and it's a commitment from the custodians of good journalism, and we hope we get to hear a lot more from them in the future. Thank you once again. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll appreciate if you could join us for a high tea, please. Thank you. Thank you.